Hello guys, I hope you're doing okay. Today we are having an online session, but the idea is that you work on the class autonomously, okay? Because I cannot teach this class synchronically today, okay? So I will show you, let's start immediately with the class, the PowerPoint that I have prepared for you. This is the class that we were supposed to have on Thursday last week. Okay, so there are a couple of things that need to be changed. For example, the date. Okay, today is July the 6th, Monday, July the 6th, and this would be our class 12. Okay, we are almost finishing the semester, and this is what we are missing. This is what comes next. Today, which is July the 6th, we are working on comparatives and superlatives. Superlatives is new content, content that we have not checked or studied before. No hemos estudiado superlatives, okay? So it's new content. Then what we're gonna do on Thursday is a general review of the key elements of A1 and A2 so that you can practice and reinforce that content. Okay, that would be Thursday this week. And then we will have the general guidelines for the final work, yeah, the final task that you have to do for this course. So we will adjust this calendar. Vamos a ajustar un poco el calendario. And I will send it to you this week as soon as possible. Okay, so let's start with the class. For that, we will start with a matching activity. You match the words with their definition. Okay, so what's the idea, or how is it that we're gonna work today? Is you are going to pause the video whenever I tell you, ya, pausar el video cuando yo les diga, then take a couple of minutes to think, to answer, or to develop what you have to do, and then play the video again to check the answers. Okay? So now look at the words on the left. We have some adjectives there. And look at the definitions on your right. Match the words with their definition, pause the video, take a couple of minutes, then play the video again and check your answers. Okay, now we are ready to check what you did. So, definition of word number 1, kind. Kind would be having a good nature or way of behaving. Confident, question or word number 2, confident. Having strong belief or full assurance, sure. Then word number 3, funny. Provoking laughter, amusing, comical. Then word number 4, successful. Achieving or having achieved success. Word number 5, clear. Easily understood, without ambiguity, entirely understandable. Word number 6, easy. Requiring no great labor or effort, relaxed. And finally, word number 7, hard, would be difficult to do or accomplish, involving a great deal of effort or energy. So these words will be part of a reading. The reading comes next, now that you know these words. And the idea is that you identify as many things as possible. So you can identify the tenses that we have studied, los tiempos verbales que hemos estudiado, the structures that we have studied, maybe some adjectives that you know, or the ones that we just learned here, maybe some other adjectives you know, and basically everything else you can identify. So I will read the first paragraph just to show you what you have to do. So let's read. My name is Alex and I am a university student. I study business because I think it is the most interesting subject. My university is the biggest one in my city and I like studying there. So what are the things that I can identify here? I can identify, for example, present simple. My name is Alex, I am a university student, I study business. All of that is present simple. I can also identify, for example, verb to be. Is. My name is. Or am. I am a university student. That's verb to be, right? I also identify other verbs like study. Study is not to be, right? It's a different verb. What else can I identify? Maybe vocabulary that we have studied. Business or subject. Subject, la materia, el ramo, the subject. And I also see a little bit of comparison when she says that her university is the biggest one in her city. So she's comparing her university with other universities, right? So you do that, you read the text and identify as many elements as possible. Please do it consciously, thinking about your answer, identifying as much as possible, okay? So read now, pause the video, pausen el video ahora, and then we check the general aspects of the text. Okay, so other things that you could have identified here are, for example, the adjectives that we studied, right? We have kind, We have hard, quiet, that's an adjective that we studied before. Cheap, that's also an adjective, etc. What else did you identify? Which other elements did you identify? Please let me know. The idea here is that we see how superlatives are used. But what are superlatives? ¿Qué son los superlativos? That is what we are studying today. So here I have a short definition of what superlatives are. It says that a superlative is used to describe something that is the best, greatest, or worst among three or more things. In English grammar, superlatives are the third stage of comparison. So basically, it is also a way to compare, but you compare one thing in relation to some others. Not only two things, like we did when comparing and using comparatives. So we have similar rules for this. For example, the first rule is for one-syllable words, one-syllable adjectives, adjectives that are short. For example, tall, alto. When we have short adjectives like tall, what we do is that we add est. So tall, tallest. This student is the tallest of his class. Este estudiante es el más alto de su clase. So, one student compared to many other students. Not two people. You're not comparing two people. You are comparing one person in relation to many other people. Or, for example, this train ticket, este boleto de tren, este ticket de tren, is the cheapest. Este es el más barato. That means that you are comparing that ticket in relation to many other tickets. Maybe there are 10 options, 10 different tickets, but this one is the cheapest. Este es el más barato de todos. Then we have multi-syllable words or multi-syllable adjectives, which means adjectives that are long. Yeah, adjetivos largos. For example, interesting. Interesting, 3 syllables, 3 sílabas. So that is considered long. And a long adjective, you need to add most or least to make the superlative. For example, this is the most interesting idea. Esta es la idea más interesante de todas estas otras ideas. So, one idea compared to many other ideas. Or the opposite, the least interesting, la menos interesante. So this opinion is the least interesting. That means you have many people giving their opinion, and you consider that one of them is the most or the least interesting. La mejor, no la mejor, la más interesante, la menos interesante. And we also have irregular words or irregular adjectives. These ones do not follow a rule, they change. So the most common ones, the ones that we have studied before, are good and bad, bueno y malo, and the superlative would be the best or the worst, el mejor o el peor. That would be irregular because it doesn't follow the rule of adding est or using the most or anything like that, but it changes completely. So here we have a question that you can think about. Maybe you pause the video for a couple of minutes to think about this answer. What's the difference between comparatives and superlatives? If you had to remember what we studied before about comparatives, and now that we're looking at superlatives, what's the main difference? Please pause the video, think, and then play the video again. Okay, the answer, I think I can show you here. So we will compare comparatives and superlatives in terms of grammar. And to make it simple, we will have that there is a rule for short adjectives, there is a rule for long adjectives, and we have the special cases or exceptions to the rule. We always have those. So when we compare and we have short adjectives like long, what we do is that we added er. Remember? This is longer than this. Esto es más largo que esto otro. Or this is tall, but this is taller than this other thing. So when you compared, you had er. In the case of superlatives, the rule says that with short adjectives, we need to add est. So long becomes the longest, right? The longest. And tall becomes the tallest. So for example, this hair is the longest I have seen. Este pelo es el más largo que he visto de todos los pelos que he visto, which are a lot. So you are not comparing two hairs, but many ones, many hairs that you have seen. Or this student is the tallest of his class. Este estudiante es el más alto de todos en su clase. Not this student is taller than this other student. Then you are comparing two people, But here you are comparing one in relation to many others. Okay? So comparatives, long adjectives. What we did was to say this is longer, this is more interesting, for example, interesting than bla bla bla. Esto es más interesante que esto otro. So you are comparing one thing in relation to the other. And with superlatives, what we do with long adjectives is to say the most. So, it's el máximo, right? This book, book X, is the most interesting book I have ever read. El libro más interesante de todos los que he leído, no de uno solo, right? So you are comparing one in relation to many others. And finally, special cases will be the most important ones, good and bad. When we were talking about superlatives, remember we used better and worse. This is better than this other thing. Esto es mejor que, o esto es peor que. And in the case of superlatives, special. What happened? What happened with the pen? It's not working. Maybe the battery is over. But let me see if I can write with my hand. No. I'm sorry. I cannot continue writing. But special cases for superlatives are good, the best, and bad, the worst. So, this is the best movie I have ever watched. Esta es la mejor película de todas las películas, que son muchas. Oh, this is the worst movie. Esta es la peor película. Yeah? That would be superlatives of special cases like good and bad. So that answers the question of what's the difference between comparatives and superlatives. Yeah, this question in terms of grammar or in terms of structure. Okay, so here you have some exercises for you to practice. We have 3 images. The idea is that you write the comparative form and the superlative form. For example, let's look at the first image. We have a child, a girl, and the adjective is happy, feliz. The comparative would be happier. Short adjective, comparative, we add er. And then the superlative would be the happiest, la más feliz de todas. So again, est ending, el final est, and that means superlative for short adjectives. So you need to do that with the following adjectives. We have useful, útil, sweet, good, young, and hot. the idea is that you write all the forms. Okay, so again, pause the video, answer the questions, and then play the video again. Okay, now we check. So useful is a long adjective. Comparative would be more useful than. Superlative would be the most useful. Sweet. Comparative would be sweeter. Superlative would be the sweetest. Good. Comparative would be better, and superlative would be the best. Then young. Comparative would be younger. Superlative would be the youngest. Then hot. Comparative would be hotter than. Superlative would be the hottest. So I hope your answers are correct. Let's see what comes next. More exercises. More exercises. Here we have 3 images that you need to compare using superlatives. So, in the first image, we have a rock, an elephant, and a house. And the adjective you need to use is big, grande. So, what is the biggest? Answer that question writing a sentence. Second image. The adjective you need to use here is fast. Fast, rápido. So, which one is the fastest? You write a sentence. Image 3, we have a dog, a cat, and a rabbit. And you need to use the adjective small, pequeño o chico, small. So which one is the smallest animal? You write a sentence. And finally, we have a person, tree, and a giraffe. And the adjective you need to use is tall, alto. So which one is the tallest? You write a sentence. So you need 4 sentences here. Then we have exercises for long adjectives and exceptions. The first image is 3 fruits, a mango, a coconut, and a melon. And the adjective you need to use is expensive. Expensive means caro. So which one is the most expensive fruit or the least expensive fruit? Write a sentence or 2. The second image is a bird, un pájaro. And the adjective you need to use is beautiful. So which bird is the most beautiful one or the least beautiful one? You write a sentence. Then the third image is an exception. This is the word good. Good. So what's the superlative of good? Remember and check. and write a sentence. And this fourth image is bad. Okay, no, this apple is bad. Está cada vez peor, ¿cierto? Hay una que es la peor de todas. So, which one is it? Write a sentence using superlatives. Sorry por el copyright. So here you need 4 or 6 sentences at least. ¿Ya? Por lo menos 4 o 6 oraciones de estas puras imágenes. So create the sentences, write them down, and if you want them to be checked, send them to me. ¿Ya? Los que quieran revisión, me la mandan. And this is the final task for today's class. You need to write sentences. But the idea is to create a short paragraph here, okay? It's not random sentences, but sentences that create a paragraph. Un párrafo chiquitito, cortito. It says, create 6 sentences comparing your postgraduate studies, your classes, your subjects, your schedule. Schedule means horario, etc., using both superlatives and comparatives. So here you have some ideas of the adjectives that you can use. For example, difficult, easy, demanding. Demanding means that it takes you a lot of time or effort. Challenging. Challenging is something difficult but that you enjoy. Como desafiante, right? Calm or entertaining, or more adjectives. Okay, that is up to you. You decide. But the idea is that you write these sentences, short paragraph, and you post it here. Donde dice here en amarillo. You click on it, and this goes to a Google form. No, un formulario de Google. Un documento de Google that you can edit. So you post your sentences there. Okay? So now, let me go back to the video. Yeah. So this is what you have to do today. I am sorry I cannot be with you face to face online, but let's make the best out of these sessions that we have left. I wish you luck with all your final tasks in all your classes, and work on this before Thursday so that we can continue with our regular class this week, this Thursday. Okay? Take care and see you in 3 more days. Bye bye.